And I'm Richard Fitzgerald.
And today we have very interesting headlines. First of all, I'll tell you just that, and then we'll go into the show. Elon Musk was in the UAE over the weekend. I met the UAE president and His Highness Sheikh Hamdan, and also the Abu Dhabi Crown Prince. Sequoia capital partner Sean McGuire is in the news again, and he's been condemned for false accusation against Palestinian student. Abu Dhabi's MGX has secured 15. Enjoy the See, I've realized a lot of them pop up. They close. Global Village is the first phenomena that opens up as soon as there is August. But a lot of other places, my wife keeps going to places. I'm like, I didn't hear of this place.
Seasonal, aren't they? There's a place in Al-Shiba called the Square.
Oh yeah.
And you know, I always go to these places and I see it from they're sort of rolling out adjacent to where they have. Like they have public in the square, so then they're like, then they're like, okay, we're signing a lease here. Let's put two or three of our concepts into one place. So, but yeah, it's very seasonal and it's also very cultural. Like, you know, our season called the world's coolest winter.
Oh yes,
it has lots of tourism branded things as well. So, but yeah, I think it's just a nice.
Just tease the market, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, you don't get like a big loss of getting a place and doing all the bills and everything. You can just do
Riyadh season, which extended, and then the other seasons. So they just evolve as marketing platforms, and it just becomes a canvas that you can activate, as you said, your brand on. There's lots of surprise. There's lots of games events. So this is games events. So this is also in the winter season and all this sort of stuff. But AFCON is a big tournament. It's a good scouting tournament. There's often conflict with European leagues that the players have to leave for a while. I did a quick scan of the Moroccan first 11. I saw a striker for Accusation. Like we've often heard about it with Spain. With back in the day there was Belgium and then Belgium again. Not that they win everything, but they have a crop of players that. One of the Sheikh, one of the famous ex-Chelsea players, returned to Heroes Welcome to that club recently. So they're sort of on the rise.
Why that?
Why Sports Bundle? I could watch Manchester United last night, Premier League, in my expensive Todd subscription, but I can't watch the African nations. And as usual on the streaming service, the sort of Gulf countries had their Arab Cup. Now all we're looking at really, can Mo Salah, it's billed as like, will Mo Salah win for Egypt, or will Morocco continue their sort of
flicks? Disney Plus, OSN Plus, and Shahid. Now they're flicks. Disney Plus, OSN Plus, and Shahid. Now they're bundling together, and it's like the first ever MENA bundle that you can get. You go to Shahid and you get all three of MENA bundle that you can get. You go to Shahid and you get all three of them for the price of two.
Your Smashi Disney Plus, which isn't our, but so they've decided to come together. They're doing a 3-for-2. They haven't necessarily said the prices. I don't know the detail of it, but basically, it's an interesting move, and more mergers happen, and. We saw this when Eli Habib joined the OSN board while he was independent after listing NASDAQ. What emerged then was an OSN Plus acquisition of Angami. I think as soon as you start talking, something else emerged. But yeah, everyone's talking. Quite surprised, isn't it? Suddenly Elon Musk popped into our feeds yesterday. He's been in Dubai yesterday in the cold weather, wrapped up with Sheikh Hamdan. Go ahead.
And he held strategic meetings. Obviously, His Highness President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, he met with Musk at the Zayed National Museum in Abu Dhabi to discuss advanced technology and artificial intelligence partnerships.
Yeah, so also Dubai Crown Prince His Highness Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed also hosted Musk at his Majlis in Al-Shiba, the Crown Prince. Later, we should say that there were talks last week that SpaceX is going to be geared up for a public listing. Musk has famously kept many of his entities not public. Obviously Tesla's public, but the rest of them he sort of kept them private, and SpaceX going public.
Very big loss. But that happened, and AI is causing problems. But here we see that that happened, and AI is causing problems. But here we see that we are bullish on it. The UAE doesn't care. They're like, no, we know this is the future. And I think we bullish on it. The UAE doesn't care. They're like, no, we know this is the future. And I think
There's a famous, there's a brilliant story in recent biography about Musk. I think it's the one, Isaac one, or it's a newer one, and he talks about when he bought X and the data centers, and he was of this relentlessness, and it proved to be the wrong thing to do, but it set the tone of doing deals and doing times. And I think a Sunday, right? Like when we see this happening, like okay,
which is building the Dubai Loop 2026 first quarter. That's what His Excellency Umar Sultan Al Ulama, the Minister of AI, said. They'll start working on it, and I think it's a 4-year project. It'll be like underground trainways, but for cars. It's that simple. Because he thinks that we get stuck a lot. So that's the boring company. MGX story is about another $1 billion fund, but it's a weird story. A Sequoia capital partner, who we all know, Sean. We've covered him a lot on Smashi. Same weird Sean. We've covered him a lot on Smashi. Same weird things. And he's facing and he's facing severe backlash again after falsely linking a Palestinian both the Brown shooting and the killing of an MIT professor. The falsely accused student had no involvement whatsoever.
The controversy has reignited questions about Sequoia Capital's workplace culture. In October, the firm's chief operating officer resigned after Sequoia refused to discipline Maguire, later citing an increasingly Islamophobic environment. This follows Maguire's previous inflammatory. Look at the law, and you can look at labour law, and you can look at the leadership of the countries and things like that, and you can sort of pass the buck to them. But it's not necessarily that we're a family and you're disciplining your children or whatever, but like you have a responsibility. Employees are so vocal with hate speech, and it's what it is. Like this story hasn't gone away. It's it happened earlier in the year, and it's happening again. And MGX, the one also you said, that invested in OpenAI. So you just see more and more kind of sovereign wealth linked entities, but there's more investment vehicles from the region who don't have employees practicing hate speech on social media. So I think there's just
very big. As a $100 billion investment giant, and now is managing $400 billion assets under management. It will become a major stakeholder in TikTok's US operations as the social media giant's ownership battle reaches.
Like capital. Investors will control 30% through affiliates, with the remaining 5% yet to be disclosed. Sources value TikTok US approximately at $14 billion.
And the new entity, TikTok USDS joint venture, LLC, will be majority owned by American investors and governed by a 7-member board. What I see, it's very interesting that they brought Abu Dhabi MGX as a neutral party, because now you have American investors investing in TikTok, and then you have ByteDance with some minority share in TikTok, and then you have ByteDance with some minority share. But I think they came in as a neutral country, that we will also be a part of it.
About his speech or his interview at FII, I was actually in the room where he was interviewed, and the interviewer sort of talked about him as if he was the founder of TikTok, but the backstory is very interesting. It's American people who founded Musical.ly, and TikTok sort of bought it. But that whole algorithm around 2014 YouTube, they're still bringing people over onto the platform. But the point is that TikTok, They survived. They haven't been shut down. They haven't been banned. TikTok creators will continue in the US. When TikTok were entering the US, they set up different entities. Magic called out the name of the USDS. Yes. There's so much spillover on this stuff. Like, I think even though this has been spun off, there's still links to ByteDance. There's still yes, the data, and I think on the podcast you mentioned that the algorithm will be an American algorithm, and the data will be stored in the US. There's still so much links to ByteDance, and sure, it's Oracle think they own it, but I think the Chinese have been quite smart at people. They would give them separate email addresses, and they would say they
Yeah.
work with separate companies, but it's the same company.
Yeah, something at TikTokus.com.
Yeah, but at the same point, it's not China. It's not the Chinese government.
Yeah.
Americans think it is, but no, it's independent entrepreneurs.
As you said, not completely kicked out of it and they had to sell it. They were like, we are there, some part, and as you said, 100% they'll have their hands everywhere. They're not just going to let everyone run amok. But the good thing is that 15% of US TikTok, if it's even like $14 billion, according to estimates, so there is no final conclusion. But they got a big chunk out of it, obviously.
Happy New Year. We'll be with you all over the festive periods. Happy New Year. We'll be with you all over the festive periods, 5 days a week with some AI at the weekend. We'll be with you, we'll be here, as Elon Musk and Sheikh Hamdan